Let's go live. Hello. Welcome everyone. This is Sagar Shah and welcome to this session, which is going to be thoroughly instructive, educational, and you're going to learn a lot from it because King's Indian Defense is supposed to be one of the most widely played opening at any level, actually, not just amateur level, but even at a grandmaster level. King's Indian Defense is played a lot, and today we have invited a very well known grandmaster who has recently recorded a DVD for ChessBase on how to face the King's Indian Defense with the Saemisch Variation. So that's what we are going to do today. And to learn with us, we are going to have a very strong chess player who is in great form today. So to invite him, I am presenting all of you with a position to solve. So let's see if you can do well. 1 second. And here is the position on the screen, guys. Please write down the move in the chat. Hello, Biswa.
Yo.
Biswa, this is your position. Guys, this is what Biswa played today. Please find the best move for white. Biswa, can you tell us a bit about this position?
So I was, this game is very important to me. I was trying to reach 1500, and I was, this is a game I remember very clearly. Opponent was black, and I was like, I was playing on this very chess.com, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Biswa's move here. Oh, look at the chat. Chat slowly moving in here. Biswa, what do you think? There are 3 moves that are being suggested. If you see on the screen.
Let's go with first knight f7. Doesn't work. I can rule it out. Did I get disconnected?
हाँ अभी आप आ गए वापस.
Wow.
Chat is killing it, na?
My internet is a little unstable, I think. But chat is very good at finding this. They have found the move by a huge margin.
They have, by the way, guys, amazing job done by all of you. The right move is bishop g7, and Biswa found it in his game, and it is such a killer move because if you take with the bishop here, you mate with the combo of knight and queen, and if you take the knight here, you mate with the combo of bishop queen. Such a aesthetically pleasing move, Biswa. I think you must have felt very good while making this.
Yeah, this is my gold coin move.
But it all starts like this. At least there is no way that black can, wriggle out of it. So
yeah, it's my imitation gold coin move.
Imitation. Okay, Biswa, we have the teacher for today joining in. I want to give him this position.
Oh man, why are you embarrassing me like this?
Let's see.
Let's see. Embarrassment. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Hi, Jan. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. What about you guys?
Very good. Jan, is there a video working in the background for you?
Hi, I'm fine. What about you guys?
Very good. Just a second.
I think he's a little slightly confused about the zoom.
Yeah.
I think he shot the zoom by mistake rather than.
He'll join back.
Yeah.
I am hoping that he will join the stream back.
I think he has already seen the position also.
I don't know. Let's see. He's back here. Let's see.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm back. I had
Hey.
some technical problems.
No problem. Jan, before we begin today's session, I have one position for you. I don't know if you already solved it, but this is white to play.
I'm
And
kind of cheating here, I think, because I saw already the
oh,
answer.
you saw the move.
Yeah, Bishop G7, right?
Yes, yes. So I want to give you a small introduction of the person next to you right now. His name is Biswa Kalyan Rath. He is one of India's very, very famous, popular stand-up comedians. Over the last 1 year, he has been playing chess more than maybe even a chess professional would be playing. And he's thoroughly interested in chess and loves it a lot. So today he played this combination, and so just while we were waiting for you to join, we gave it to the viewers to solve.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. Well
And
done.
uh, Jan, I want to also introduce Jan to the chat. Is it correct to call you Jan, right?
Yeah, well, the Dutch pronunciation would be Jan, but I'm fine with Jan.
Okay, Jan.
Jan, yeah,
Jan,
with
okay.
an typical Dutch sound.
Okay, Jan. And Jan is a very strong grandmaster from Netherlands, and has had the highest elo of 2600 plus. He's won multiple tournaments all across the world, and he's also a lawyer. Yes, Jan, you're a lawyer.
Well, it was some time ago, but I have been a lawyer and finished my law studies. That's right. But now I'm fully a trainer.
Amazing, amazing. So right now you are into chess, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So we are very excited to learn from you today the Saemisch variation against the King's Indian defense, because I myself play it. Biswa wants to start playing it. So, and you also recorded a DVD for ChessBase. For all the people who are here, I would just like to mention this to you that Jan has prepared this Saemisch variation against King's Indian and Benoni, and this is what we are going to discuss today. Tell us a bit about this opening. I'll start. I'll take it from the initial.
Yeah. So, well, as you guys all know, we start with D4.
Okay.
And knight of 6, C4, G6, and here knight C3, and bishop G7.
Mm-hmm.
So actually we don't cover the Grunfeld after D5, but yeah, that's too much to cover for one DVD. So I mainly focused on the King's Indian after bishop G7, E4, D6, and F3. And yeah, what's the idea of F3? Well, you're supporting the center. The pawn on E4 is pretty strong now, covered by E4 by the F3 pawn. Also defending the G4 square. So you have this pawn phalanx on the king's side. It's quite powerful. The downside is that you don't have a square for your knight on G1. So you can no longer jump to F3 because now there's a pawn on F3. So it takes extra time to develop the knight. So to E2 and then possibly to G3 or to C1 once the bishop from C1 moves.
Okay.
So yeah, there are some drawbacks and some pluses. But well, yeah, it's starting actually all here. This whole the course and the structures are coming back throughout the whole course here. So if you really get a hold on all the ideas and the typical structures, the positional ideas, then well, you can just start playing the opening.
So have you also played this with the white pieces yourself?
Actually, to be honest, I played with the black pieces.
Okay.
And yeah, I beat my opponent once. But I was fascinated by this opening because it's so different than all the other King's Indians. And there's so many specifics you must know about. So if my belief is that when you invest a lot of time in this opening, studying all the model games and the typical positions, you have such a plus on your opponent because well, it's very specific.
Right. And Biswa, what is your like? What are you looking at from this? Do you want to play this as white, or you want to know it from white and then play it from black?
I want to play it from black because nobody plays King's Indian in my range of rating. Literally, I've never faced the King's Indian. I have played the King's Indian, but I have never faced it. And sorry, I have one question. Is this a more positional opening or is this an aggressive opening?
Well, it depends actually on the line which black is choosing, because white can play very aggressively when he plays bishop e3, queen d2, long castling, and g2, g4, starting launching an attack on the black king. So it gets, as you understand, very aggressive. Black tries to open the queen side with a6, b5, and it's kind of a rat race. Yeah. So, but it also can become very positional. When white castles short, and where should he place the knight? Is there any prospect for the white knight on e2? That's kind of the problem child of white's position. But in many lines, it's recurring. A recurring theme is the knight is going to g3, and from e2 to g3, and black tries to get rid of the knight from there, harass it with h7, h5, and subsequently h5, h4. And then you must kind of anticipate on this plan of black where to put the knight. And I find it very interesting, no matter what the computers say, but to put it on f2, because from there it's very strong. It supports the center. You can.
You mean this way?
Well, not possibly if you get the chance to go along h3, but mainly I mean you put the knight on e2, then on g3 in the main line. And black chooses the Benoni setup with c7, c5. And white pushes the pawn to d5. Maybe we'll get to that later. But in many lines, when black plays e6, e takes d5, c takes d5, and then h7, h5, h4, trying to harass the knight. And then
so the knight sometimes goes to h1, right, and then to f2.
Yeah. And from f2, I'm a very big fan of this square for the knight.
Okay.
Because it supports the advance. You have the majority on the king side. It's a bit hard to imagine, of course, because all these arrows now, we'll get to that later probably. But anyway, from f2, you support the center, and it gives really good practical chances to white.
Right. Yes, Biswa, you were asking something.
I was saying, if you play f4, like I think it's called 4 pawns attack or something, then you can put your knight on f3 and continue, right? What is the advantage of playing f3 instead of f4 if you want to play an aggressive game anyway? Why are we going the f3 way?
Yeah, f3 is completely different setup. You support the center from f3 with your pawn, and you also take the g4 square from black. And f4 is much more with the purpose of getting control of the center, placing your knight on f3, and it's like steamroll black in the center with at some point d5 and e5 together. But f3 is, you want to keep it intact, the center with white.
Okay. So after f3, Jan, most of the players castle, right? And here is a very big kind of an important moment, because you can play bishop e3, or I believe that you can also play knight e2. What is your recommendation here and why?
Well, actually, I choose for the setup with knight e2 and bishop g5. And to keep all options still open, but I'd rather go to g5 with my bishop. But I mean, there's so many flavors here in this variation, so many different lines. It's just a starting point, and I just chose this line. But you can also play bishop e3. That's possible too.
Okay. So bishop e3 is also possible in this. I would say one of the main lines here, bishop e3. But the move that you recommend here is knight g2. And the most common move that I faced, I used to play this with white. I checked in my database before the session, and I have found that I have played 17 games with white already, NG2.
Oh, yeah.
So in a way, this is something for me also to learn from you, that what are the new developments here, what's happening. But the main move that I
can learn from you too, Sagar, I think. You're also an expert, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I haven't played it since almost 3 years now. But whenever I used to play, most of the players would respond with c5 here.
Yeah.
And but those who are inexperienced King's Indian players, they did play e5. So how do we deal with both these breaks?
Yeah, well, the c5 is most topical at the moment, very popular among the black players. And yeah, so after c5, then you play here d5, and you go into this Benoni structures.
Right.
But there are many options for black, right? e5, yeah, is one of the main options. c5 is one of the main options, but also lately Grishuk popularized gambit here with a6 and b5. He's sacrificing a pawn. Very interesting idea. On my DVD, I called it the Grishuk gambit.
Okay.
To pay homage to this guy, and well, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think he only used it for rapid and blitz, but it's very sound. And yeah, practice will show how it will develop. Maybe it's still a little bit underestimated for the black players, but we'll see after the Corona period what's yeah, if the top players will follow this line of Grishuk.
Very interesting. I haven't seen this move as such, but my instincts tell me that if black is going to play so slowly, can we not start attacking with g4, h4, and so on?
Wow, that's very ambitious, and yeah, maybe I haven't seen any games here yet, and it's very ambitious. Something to be studied, I think. Yeah, yeah. First thing which comes to mind is probably after h4 you play h5 with black. You stop the advance. Well, maybe not yet, but waiting for h4, and so I think it's time to play b5 for some counter activity here.
So you're just going to give up a pawn here like this.
Yeah, and the idea of Grishuk was to play c6, and then knight bd7 and e5, but I don't know what is the right move order here.
Interesting. So it feels a bit like Benko, right? Some Benko flavors here.
Yeah, because of the pawn sack. Yes. It's true. But the difference is that there's a pawn on d4 and a pawn on c6.
Yeah, true.
If you compare it to the Benko, and black will try to play so c6, knight bd7, e5, and then also black will play d5 to open the center.
Okay.
And yeah, it's one of these common chess rules, right? If your opponent attacks on the wing, then you should react in the center.
True. Okay. So this Grishuk line, what is your recommendation in this to go just knight g3 more positionally?
Yeah, after a6, I want to play bishop e3.
Okay.
And then b5, c takes b5, a takes b5, knight takes b5. And yeah, I think knight bd7 is the best move order for black. And I come up with some ideas actually for white. Knight bc3 was played by Duda against Grishuk in a chess.com game. I also proposed d5 right away. It's interesting for white, but I'm not sure. Black can also play e6 and very unclear positions arise.
Right. So this opening is still, it's not very clear yet how white should react to it, right?
No, it's well, I'm just following some the main line actually played by Duda and some correspondence games. I think that if white plays it correctly and he knows what he's doing, then yeah, black still should prove his compensation. He's a pawn down after all, and right. White will just try to consolidate, place his king in the corner, bring it to safety, and then yeah, he will be fine. But if black plays it correctly, there will be compensation.
Okay. So let's go to the main line. I think Biswa, when you will play, suppose this, most of your opponents should go e5 here in this position. But Jan, would you say e5 is a mistake in this position?
No, definitely not. No, it's the King's Indian setup. I dedicated a chapter to this move, and yeah, it's one of the main moves besides c5. And I would like to go here bishop e3.
Ah, okay, bishop e3. Not bishop g5. That's also possible, right?
Yeah, possibly. There are so many lines possible. Yeah, just I had to pick one and
so you chose bishop e3. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to check my my lines here. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the knight bd7 line. So indeed, I want to play bishop g5.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've got it now. And queen d2.
Bishop g5, knight bd7.
Yeah,
and
knight bd7. And c6.
Okay.
And then we can play d5. And here h6.
Okay. I have one question for Biswa here. Biswa?
Yeah.
After h6, what happens if you take the pawn on h6? Right. If suppose black's last move was h6, what if you take?
I think I don't know, it looks good for white. Black takes, white takes, or there is something else, something hidden.
Combination here.
Okay. If you take, then I think knight takes on somewhere. That knight takes. First c takes d5, then knight takes, and then sorry. First c takes d5. Let's say c takes d5.
I'll take this.
Okay, king takes. Now c takes d5. Knight takes on d5.
No, but now it makes no sense. There's no bishop here.
Okay, something like this, because the basic idea is that queen has to come to h4.
Correct.
Some combination, I think. Okay, directly.
And if we take back, because the queen is attacked, that's the main point.
Yeah.
And take, and queen h4 check, and then pick up the bishop here.
What if knight takes? Yeah, then you'll just...
Same thing. Knight takes, queen h4, followed by taking on h6. So taking that pawn on h6 is not a good idea. So we come back here, Jan. Yes?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bishop e3. And now does black take on d5? CD, CD. Or how should we do?
Yeah, black takes on d5, that's right. Otherwise c6 makes no sense. C takes d5. And here black plays a6 in order to play b5. But here becomes quite clear what is the advantage of this pawn phalanx. It looks aesthetically very nice, I think, this g2, f3, e4, d5. And they take a lot of space and also yeah, a lot of squares from the black pieces. The knight on f6 can barely move. White is better on the queen side because he has plenty of space there. And yeah, as also said before, sometimes g2, g4 is possible to start a kingside offense.
Right. So here I think the major problem for white is how to unravel his pieces here and get his king to safety. If he can achieve that, he would be strategically better, right?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe nice to say for the viewers that this happened in the game Ponomariov against Ratchabov. So Ratchabov played this with black.
Oh.
I found only one game. Ratchabov is of course expert in the King's Indian for the black side. And but he didn't really repeat the line afterwards. And one of my main games, one of the STEM games here is a beautiful game from Amin.
From black or from white?
From white side against Jovanovic.
Amin Basim.
Yeah.
But oh, he played this with white. Can we look at that game? Like, can we check?
Sure.
And maybe if there are some questions, like critical moments, if you could ask us, could help us to understand the position better.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, then a6 g4.
Okay.
Throws the cats amongst the pigeons.
Wow.
h5.
Sorry, Biswa, what were you saying?
I just immediately go g4. Wow.
Yeah, very aggressive.
It feels like white is going to lose very fast. That's what it feels like. The king looks like he's helpless in the center.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
First time I saw this Biswa, I had no idea what was going on actually in the head of the white player. What is he going to do with the white king? Yeah. But he finds a very creative solution.
Okay.
So white plays g5, knight h7.
g5 makes sense. Okay, knight h7.
Yeah, and we still should find a solution for the knight on e2. So Basim, he plays knight c1.
Okay.
And well, black has to find one way or another some counterplay. So he goes f6.
Yeah, this is the common way because black wants to get play down the f file. Also, the f3 pawn is weak. So this seems a very logical move.
Yeah, he wants to open the f file and anyway get some counterplay. Okay. Yeah, white takes.
Yeah.
And then bishop takes f6.
Okay, the idea could be to even exchange the bishops here or give a check.
Yeah, things don't look so bad for black.
Right.
Yeah. White plays rook g1. So now he really gives up the right to castle short. It's no way back. And black plays bishop h4. It's all quite concrete.
Bishop f2.
Yeah, you would say so, but
now
bishop
f2 there is there is rook f3 maybe.
King e2 he'll play, I think.
King e2. No. King e2. Oh, can we transfer our king from d1 to c2?
Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah. Well, that's the idea actually that was played by Amin. Yeah. He went to d1. And yeah, of course, e2 makes sense too, but you rather have your king will have the possibility to bring it to the queen side, to c2, b1, and so on. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, well, bishop rook f3, there follows a very sharp line. According to the engine, black should go for it. Rook f3, bishop e2. And of course, 2 pawns are hanging on h5 and g6. But black can sacrifice his rook on e3 and things are not so clear. But it's a difficult choice for your opponent to make. In order to avoid that, white could also opt, instead of rook g1 on the 15th move, for bishop e2. And to avoid all this stuff. But okay, I think we should, as white players, we shouldn't be scared of this.
Right.
Yeah, so king g1, king d1, and then black played not rook f3, but g5. And now, personally, I'm a big fan of this knight on d3 to centralize it there. So that was played by white. And yeah, still unprotected the pawn, but nevertheless, white didn't, black didn't take on f3, played king h8. And yeah, if he would take, then king c2 would come, and white just temporarily sacrifices a pawn, but then we will follow up with bishop e2, bringing in the other rook on the king of black, and it's all very dangerous for black. Yeah, so king h8, and then bishop e2, rook f7, and rook c1. And after rook c1, white always has the choice to castle artificially with king c2 and king b1.
Man,
well,
I don't want to play this opening.
But maybe with the white pieces, you do want to play.
I will. Yeah, with the black pieces, it's fine.
Oh, you're not yet convinced. Okay, we go on.
Yeah, but in a way, like, you know, the thing is that white's king is way safer than the black's king here, right? Because white's king, to attack it, although it's not castled, is very difficult, while black's king is already in one corner and it will come under the fire.
Yeah, yeah. If white succeeds in consolidating, bringing his king to b1, yeah, then he should be better. And yeah, black doesn't have so many options here, actually. Pieces look a little bit awkward. White has more space. Still this pawn phalanx is there, and f3, e4, d5. Yeah, it looks very pleasant for white. Yeah, so rook c1, knight df8, and now knight a4. It's white's turn. So once the knight moves from d7, white brings in the knight on b6, this weak square, and yeah, enjoys more space, as I said. And yeah, it's a very pleasant position already. I think black kind of lost track here. He played bishop h3, and here knight b6, and rook b8. And you see that white completely takes over. There's nothing left of black's attack because the king is on d1 is pretty safe. Also due to the close nature of the position, and the center position is closed. Yeah, and after rook b8, sorry if I'm talking too much, then you please interrupt me if I'm not clear.
No. If there is some interesting moment where white plays a very nice move, then we would like to guess it. But it seems like white just outplayed, black here.
Yeah, completely. I think he's winning here. And funny thing is that he's not yet going for king c2 or king b1. So yeah, there's no necessity to go for it. Apparently the king is safe enough. And he goes for knight c4 to attack the backward pawn of black on d6. So many times in the Benoni and also in the King's Indian, that is the weak point of black, the pawn on d6.
I know what's coming up. Did he play b5?
I'm going to disappoint you. You didn't, but it's a very what you're going to play after b5.
I have two ideas, but let's ask Biswa, what would you do here after b5?
Wow, it's some tactics. I'm looking at knight takes on d6 maybe, but I can't see anything happening. Knight d6, queen takes d6. This look. Yeah, I would just play knight back to a5, and then eventually knight to c6.
So, Jan, what would you prefer? Biswa's idea of knight a5 to c6, which looks very strong because the c6 square is weak, or to sack a piece here, attack f7, and then also knight c6?
Don't you have any simpler questions? It's well, I think you don't risk anything after knight a5, knight c6. So positionally, it's a very sound idea. You use the square for your pieces. It looks lovely, and then you move your king to c2. I think I would go for that, but knight takes e5 also looks promising. It's more for the adventurous players.
Yeah, this one, because you've given up a piece, and then maybe black can go like rook b7 or something and try to hold. Yeah, it could be that, but maybe this is also very good with the bishop coming here and king.
Yeah, the bishops look pretty awkward on h4 and h3.
So what did he do to knight c4?
By the way, this idea, black wants to play b5, then you also see this hidden point of why white moves his knight to d3. It can also jump to b4 and to c6. Many occasions.
If black goes b4, correct.
Yeah, black, a little bit of sad. Okay, first, so rook b8, queen b4, knight g6, knight c4. So
no, after knight c4, what did he play?
Yeah, let's say knight g6.
Knight g6.
Then queen b4.
Okay.
Rook d7 was played.
Yeah.
And king c2.
Finally getting the king.
Here b5. Yeah, what else? I mean, position is just so horrible. Then knight a5.
Biswa, do you see this actually? That black has not done anything so wrong, and yet white has completely outplayed him positionally. C6 square is weak. King is going to be very safe on b1. The king side is also not very stable for black. So this structure, I think, is the key element in white's entire strategy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, definitely. Black played queen f6, knight c6, rook e8. Yeah, now it's time to reap the fruits. So the a6 pawn, queen a3.
Oh, okay.
Rook a8. And king b1. And each move, the white's position is getting better and black's position is getting worse. Yeah, it's quite a nice end of the game. Knight f4, knight takes f4, g takes f4. Bishop b6, rook b7. Black is just randomly playing some moves because, yeah, his position is so bad. There's not much to do. Queen a5. I like this idea a lot. Here, knight f8. And now bishop f1. Black is losing ground here, so strong bishop on h3. Yeah, where should it go?
I was thinking, even if it goes back here. Because if it takes, then after rook f1, I think black is very happy. Sorry, white is very happy.
Yeah, for white, it's very easy to play. He moves his rooks to the g file and then tries to play rook g8.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe bishop b7, but aren't there already some tactics there? Okay, bishop d8 is not yet possible, I guess. No, it doesn't work yet, because black can just take. Rook c2, rook g2, maybe.
Hmm.
To bring the rook to g8. The
Yeah.
knight can't go anywhere, I think.
It's a very, very difficult position because also the rook doesn't have the b8 square. If you take with the bishop, I take the pawn attacking the rook. The pawn will queen here. So yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and we're missing also something here. White can also probably, can he take already the pawn on b5?
Oh. Possible. Quite possible. True. Okay, so in the game after bishop f1, what did he do?
Yeah, he took on f1.
Mm-hmm.
Rook takes f1 and knight d7. And now a final tactical blow.
Okay, let's think about it. Biswa, what would you play here as white?
I can't think of a tactic. I'm thinking of rook g2, and then rook g1.
But
Rook
your bishop is
f1.
hanging. Bishop is hanging on b6.
Oh, bishop is hanging. Sorry, I didn't notice. Bishop to d8.
Okay. How does that work? If rook d8.
If rook takes, bishop to rook takes, knight takes, queen takes.
Okay.
Nothing is happening. I can't. Okay. What if bishop f2, bishop takes, rook takes? Don't see anything.
Oh, bishop f2 is also possible, yeah. But I want to see if bishop d8 is working, like bishop d8, rook d8, queen d8.
Knight d8.
Yeah, knight d8, queen d8, bishop d8. And is there something? d6 is weak, rook c1 with the idea of rook c8. But doesn't seem like, maybe he goes just bishop b6, rook c8, king h7. Oh, rook g8.
Hey, there is
No.
an idea.
Yes.
What about rook g6 to displace that queen?
But
now,
when? Bishop d8 or now?
I'm thinking now.
But then queen g6?
Queen g6, yeah. Somewhere we have to displace that queen.
Sorry, guys, I have to interrupt you because all the calculations are for nothing because we took with the G rook on f1. There's a rook on c1.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
This way. But then
d7. Yeah.
Oh, now it works because we have rook c8 at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
No?
That's the difference.
Bishop d8. Queen takes. Sorry, rook takes. Knight takes. Okay.
And he can go rook b8, but I think we will just take. Or we can go rook c1 as well, I guess. Both should win, no?
Yeah, rook c1 was played. But maybe you can also just take. I think you can take as well. I think
take, and now next move, rook c8 is coming and you are winning a piece. I mean, you'll be exchange up.
Yeah, actually this kind of meant the end of the game because white was losing material and
Right, right.
yeah.
So, Jan, if knight e2, e5, then we go bishop to g5, and we
Yeah.
put our queen on d2. We then push d5 at the right moment, and we kind of get the bishop back to e3. Maybe we can go long castle. If not, then we can play knight c1 to d3, sorry. And we also have ideas of g4 playing on the king side.
Yeah, exactly. And you're also sometimes a little bit provoking h6. Black wants to get rid of the pin, and then you move your bishop back to e3. But the pawn is hanging on h6 on the long run.
Right, right.
When white brings his king to g1, for example, or long castling.
So even if he plays h6 here, you just come back, because then after queen d2, you will attack here and he will have to waste a tempo. And then this can be useful to attack with g4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of the ideas. Yeah, there's so much more to tell.
Right.
But this is one model game.
This is one thing we learned about e5. Biswa, if you face and play this with white, majorly what I would face, and I think Jan would agree, is that c5 is very, very popular. And here, how do we play, like, generally, Jan?
Yeah, first we start with d5, accepting these Benoni structures. Then e6.
Okay.
And bishop g5.
Ah, bishop g5. Not knight g3.
Well, as bonus material, I added that on the course, knight g3.
Okay.
Also recorded one of the CBMs, the ChessBase magazines. But this is the main line. And before Corona, then for this period, was it in 2020 start off, then I recorded bishop g5. And this is my main line, bishop g5.
Okay.
But there are so many lines possible, you just have to choose. And I was quite convinced that this is a good follow-up. I like the pin, and I would like to let him play h6 and go for these lines. I find some interesting model games of Korchnoi, played it in great style, and some other strong players, also like Dreyev. But black, after, let's see, e6, bishop g5, ed5, cd5, and typically in the Benoni he goes for a6, b5, so a6, white stops that, a4.
Yeah, if Jan, and if we start with c4, and if someone plays Benoni with us, which is c5, d5, e6, knight to c3, cd, ed-cd, d6, e4, g6, f3, bishop g7, knight g2, castles, and bishop g5, we reach the same position.
Yeah, it's transposition, right? Yeah.
So this same line, Biswa, can be used against King's Indian as well as Benoni.
Got it. I'm not going to play it, so.
Okay. Nevertheless, we go on with analysis.
Oh man, I can't. That king going from d1 to b1 has broken me. I can't.
Take a breath, take it easy. You'll be fine.
It gave me too much anxiety.
Okay.
So bishop g5, a6, a4.
a4, yeah, yeah. Knight bd7.
Yeah.
And my opponent once played queen d2. White should play very accurately because he should still solve this problem of the knight on e2, and then he should play his bishop out on f1, and then only then he can castle. But it takes like 3 moves. Even when you go to c1, it was played once by Caruana, it takes 4 moves because knight on c1 also should go to d3 or b3. But that's the disadvantage. And black already finalized his development with short castling. And in this game, I was not really aware of the theory. I was a little bit on my own. I was quite proud also on this game. I went here h6 with black.
Mm-hmm. And the same concept. If we take, there is knight e4, fe4, and queen h4.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, nice.
And bishop e3.
Okay.
And I knew that these days the game was played in 2015 Dutch competition against a Dutch grandmaster, Dambacher. I knew that rook e8 was kind of the main line for black, but I decided not to waste any time on that move because I felt like that I should react now. The knight is still on e2, bishop on f1, king in the center, so I played knight h7 to immediately hit in the center with f5, not waste any time on rook e8.
Okay.
And then he played knight c1.
So this is your game with black pieces.
Yeah, knight c1, knight e5, bishop
e2.
Yeah, bishop e2, f5. And yeah, there's still a lot to solve for black. For white, black is already fine here. I think black is better. White plays short castling, and now I play g5. And yeah, during the game, I thought maybe it might already be kind of lost for white, but it's a bit exaggerated. But after knight, you can't do anything with the knight on c1. After knight d3, I will play knight c4, and yeah, I grab his so important bishop on e3.
Yeah, this is very difficult. Yeah, exactly. So can't play knight d3.
I'm threatening also to play f4, and I get this beautiful blockading square on e5. Then I'll start going on with g4, opening the g file, start a kingside attack. Yeah, that's why my opponent took on f5. I took back with the bishop. And then, yeah, it's a very poor knight on c1. But it had to be moved somewhere. So he moved it to a2. But this implies resignation, right? If you put it there, it's just a horrible knight. And I played queen e8. And then king h1 and queen g6. And positionally, I think I'm already winning with black. All my pieces are well placed. Knight, super knight on e5. His knight on a2 can't get out. And yeah, the game didn't last very long. So as a white player, also in the DVD, I warn my students. So please don't play queen d2 here. Because things can turn out badly for you.
So queen d2 is not the correct move.
Now this is, in my opinion, this is a horrible move for white. Yeah.
But it looks like the most natural move in that position where you connect. And but then what do we play here? And maybe Biswa, what would you play instead of queen d2 in this position as white?
Oh man, this is okay.
I was thinking maybe moving the knight away, but
Maybe knight to g3. I don't know.
yeah.
Then h5, h4 will come.
But h4 is controlled by our bishop. Okay, maybe h6, pushing the bishop away, then h5 and h4 could be an idea.
Maybe bishop. Sorry. You know what? Why not g4? I'm sorry. I'm going g4.
The only thing about g4 which I find a little bit worrying here is that knight coming to e5 and attacking that f3 pawn. Is that something?
Knight to e5. Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe it could be a good idea. Like knight e5, you can go knight g3, and the queen defends the pawn. Perhaps. But What is your suggestion here?
Yeah, I think g4 comes a bit too early. I think white should solve his development issues, and therefore he should go knight g3.
Ah, yeah. Very nice. Knight g3.
Yeah. But okay, not all problems have been solved. Black plays h6.
Right. Okay. Bishop e3. Right.
Bishop e3 and bishop, bishop e3 and then h5.
Now threatening h4.
And here, yeah, you have to create some escape route for the knight on g3 because otherwise it will be trapped, kind of, yeah, with h4, or should go back to e2. But you can play bishop e2.
What about bishop d3?
Yeah, interesting. But the problem is that after knight e5, black would be happy in the Benoni to exchange his knight for the bishop.
Got it.
And the main reason is actually that in the Benoni, you have a lack of space with black. You have 4 minor pieces, and there's not so much space to maneuver it. But after knight e5, if you exchange it, this is one of these rules of thumb, then yeah, you have enough space for your minor pieces. So it's beneficial for black to exchange one pair.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
And
that's why bishop e2 makes more sense than because knight e5 doesn't hit the bishop. Okay.
And I was thinking if you play bishop e2 now, if you castle, then again your knight loses escape square. That's why I was thinking bishop d3, but it makes sense. We don't want to exchange.
Yeah, you want to move the knight to e2 from g3. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense too. Yeah.
But I think Biswa, after castles, the knight gets a new escape square h1 to f2.
Ah, okay. Very nice.
So,
very nice.
And this problems that we are facing of the knight not getting enough space and the bishop is in return what white has is this great center. So you get something but you lose something.
Yeah, also it's very hard to attack white apart from h4. Not much. I can't see a way for black to get counterplay.
Correct. Yeah, that is true. Exactly. Because b5 is not there. I think, Jan, one of the common ways is to move the knight and play f5.
Yeah, together with h4 and then f5. And yeah, we also should be aware of this ideas of rook b8 and b5.
Right.
Sometimes black can try to get some counterplay, opening the b file. Of course, he enjoys his strong bishop on g7. b2 can become weak. You can get sufficient compensation there when the b file will be opened. So these are two of black's main ideas. h4 can be played. Yeah, knight h7 has been played by Ratchabov and Zigalko and also Karpov. So two main lines, but okay, h4 is maybe also very interesting in my main line at least. And after knight f1, so instead of knight h7, h4, knight f1, you see also why queen d2 was a mistake for white. Because white's knight is going to c4. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, hitting the pawn on d6, and all the Benoni players, they will be very enthusiastic about this maneuver.
So I think h4 is not well timed, right here.
h4, well, no, it has been played a couple of times, but as I said, after if he postpones h4, then we can play castle. We can castle short, and then after h4 later on, we move our knight to h1 and f2. Right. And knight is well placed there.
If let's say here he goes knight e5, then we castle h4 and knight h1 with the idea of knight f2, and then later we can plan for f4.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and here there are many interesting ideas. So knight e5, let me see. Okay, yeah, well, white can play here queen d2. and then knight f2 and so on, and f4. Yeah, but I suggest we're going back to h4 on the 13th move. So knight f1.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, black can play rook b8 and knight h7. Rook b8 has been played between Positional and Michalewski. But knight h7 is also an interesting line. Then knight d2.
Knight h7, knight d2. Okay.
f5. ef5, gf5. And yeah, here Victor Korchnoi played f4. And I'm not so fond of this idea actually. And I think that white can get an advantage after short castling.
Instead of castle, he played f4 here.
Yeah, I think it comes too early. I would like to wait with that move, and then yeah, then black can play, of course, knight e5, king h8, rook g8. White will place the king to h1, but I'd be very happy with white to play these positions.
Why?
The white king is well protected, and the black's position looks very active. But on the other hand, you know, he doesn't have any guards around the king. His pawns are already on h4 and f5, only 2 pawns. White has centralized pieces. They're coordinating well. Knight will be placed on the c4, hitting d6. And if black gets too ambitious, we will punish him for that. If he's playing h3, we'll play rook g1 and take over the g file. So yeah, I think also structure-wise, white is better here.
But I mean, it makes sense that what Korchnoi did here was f4, because e5 square is very important for the knight. So in a way, I find f4 to be very thematic, no?
Yeah, it's logical, but you're also giving up something, yeah? So the control over these squares e4 and g4. Your king hasn't castled yet. Black played knight df6. It was Chinese grandmaster, I think, Xi Yun. And here h3 was played by Korchnoi, queen e7. And also white got some problems with the king. He couldn't castle, and therefore he played king f2. And the game went on, but...
Right.
Yeah,
this is not what we want. Correct.
No.
So maybe better to start with castle. Okay, so the basic idea here is to play meet c5 with d5, e6, you put your bishop on g5. When he takes, you take back. a6 is met with a4, and then you put your knight to g3, and queen d2 is very natural, but it doesn't really help, because after h6, bishop e3, black very quickly plays knight h7, as played by Jan himself. When he played this with the idea of f5, it gave black excellent counterplay. So we start with knight g3, h6 come back, and now h5. We could also think of ideas with knight h7, f5, but now they are less powerful, right, Jan? Because you just go bishop e2 and you are in time to castle.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, of course, this is one of the main positions and lines, very popular for black. But in the DVD, there's so many options, and most I covered them. But it was mainly also to give you an idea, a hint how to play, how to handle with all these different structures, what are the main ideas, so that you can just play a game and know where you have to put your pieces.
Right. Very interesting. Okay, so this is very, very nice. And I think overall, these are the main two setups, right, for white. Is there also a possibility? I used to face a big problem when my opponents would play knight c6, and I think there was this game by Gawain Jones who used to play this as black, and it was quite a potent way, no, for black to play. Like they would go rook b8, bd7, a6, maybe sometimes e5, sometimes b5.
Yeah, that's right indeed. Knight c6, it's called the Pano variation.
Pano.
And the Pano variation, it's called.
Okay.
And white plays bishop e3, and black plays a6.
Okay.
Queen d2.
Okay.
And here rook b8.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
yes.
seen it in many King's
Yes,
Indian
I was
variations.
very confused, like how to continue here. Should I put, some would put their knight here, some would put their knight here. Some even played g3, bg2.
Yeah.
It was not very easy to understand because
Very difficult, yeah. But very creative, I think, yeah, to put your bishop here on g2.
yeah, that was I think some, maybe Caruana had played it that way, or I don't remember.
Yeah, anyway, I thought after rook b8, yeah, I recommended here two separate lines. One is knight c1 and the other one is rook c1. And it's very interesting because after rook c1, you kind of, rook c1, you stop the advance of the b pawn because the knight would be hanging.
Rook c1 first, okay. But so bd7,
Yeah.
because if b5 directly, then cb, ab, knight b5, and rook b5 and rook c6 is hanging, correct?
Yeah.
So bd7.
And yeah, here an amazing move. You're never going to guess it.
Okay, let's try.
Yeah. Good luck.
You will never guess it, is what Jan says. Oh, I can guess this one. Let's see. I want to try. Biswa, what would you play with white?
King f2. Sorry, I'm in a mood now.
Remove the king. Or king d1 with the idea of king c2, king b1.
It's not always in each position, it's good.
Okay, here I think a4.
Yeah. But I guess a4, a5, and then you lose the b4 square, right?
Yeah, makes
Like,
sense. Yeah.
And this could be a good square for the black knight.
a3 then maybe.
A3 with the idea of, but then he will go b5 anyway, right? His plan is.
Doesn't do anything.
So
Okay.
it's a prophylaxis against b5.
Yes, let's think. Like, see, his idea is b5, okay, and this we have to be prophylactic, trying to stop it in a way which is very not direct. A4 is very direct. We have to be subtle.
e5.
Sorry?
c5.
C5. C5 DC maybe, no?
D.
DC,
C5.
DC.
Yeah, now if you place b5, we just take.
So yeah, C5 is possible, but could be something more subtle here.
Okay.
I was thinking rook c2, but I mean it's not against b5. I want to play knight c1. But it looks... What? Is that
it's
correct?
Very nice. It's not the move.
It's not the move. Okay. It's very nice, but it's not the move.
Is it knight a4? I don't know.
But still b5.
Or knight takes d4.
Knight takes d4. Yeah. guys in the chat are suggesting a few moves. Let's have a look at it. Bishop h6, knight g3, b3, d5, knight f4, knight d. Oh, knight d1. Is that correct? Knight
There you
d1.
go. There you go.
Oh, Shubha, Hemant RSVH, Shubham Nath. Well done. Knight.
Why knight d1?
Well, it's prophylaxis against b5. At all costs, you want to keep the b file closed. And now after b5, you play c5. In case of d takes c5, you can take back with the rook.
Oh. And then this is slightly weak, and you have played on the c5. Nice.
Yeah, the rook on b8 looks rather stupid there, and white still remains his center. Yeah, and he has a great position, I think.
You know, Jan, the question on people's mind can be that why is white playing so clumsily in the opening? You know, like not developing his bishop and rook. But I think it's just so that he can maintain this center.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, to get such a center, well, it comes at a price, and yeah, therefore, yeah, you have to suffer a little bit, and you have to survive the first part. And once your knights are well placed, yeah, you can enjoy your space advantage.
I think suffer a little bit is an understatement. This is it's real. It's real suffering.
Yeah, it looks awkward, yes, but and of course, yeah, you should have the knowledge. Otherwise, it's very risky for white with these strange knights.
Yeah.
But once you know what you're doing and you kind of anticipate on all black's responses, then well, you get a good position.
Correct. Yeah, this is one of the openings. I think it's not like the London system or something where you can just play it. I think your studies required, like proper.
Yeah, this is one of, wouldn't you call it like, this is not easy for players who are, let's say, below the level of 2000 to play this opening, Jan, because it's very, the moves are not very standard. Like you see rook c1, you always think I want to get my bishop out and castle, but you're getting rook c1 with the idea of prophylaxis against b5 with knight d1.
But I should still sell my DVD, Sugar. Please.
No, that's true. That is true.
No. I think okay. For the first time when you see it, it looks very difficult. But once you get acquainted with all the ideas, it's playable. And when you get the idea, also there are plenty of model games in the course, and you understand what you're doing. There are also options, so you don't have to go for rook c1. You can also choose for knight c1. And of course, one of these recurring themes is that you have to solve this knight position on e2. And there are only two flavors, like you can go to g3 or you go to c1.
Right.
And once you know that you have to watch out for queen d2 when not to play it, okay, then that's all what you have to know.
Very nice, very nice. I think this sets a very good and just to finish this part, like the last part, what do we do with our bishop on f1 and rook? Do we like play g3, bg2 and castle, or how do we continue?
Yes, that's possible indeed, and played many times. So after b5, c5, black plays e6, and then white first plays knight f2, and white has some time because the center is still closed. B file is closed, and indeed he can go g3, bishop g2. Black plays here b4, and then you go g3.
Okay, got it.
Knight e7, for example, bishop g2. Black puts his bishop on b5 to activate it. Short castling. but white still is a bit better, right? Because yeah, the pressure along the c file, he has more space, and completed his development here. So knight d7, rook fd1, and well, I'd rather be white. It was played by Matlagov, famous Russian grandmaster, against Solovyov, and he won in I think 30 moves.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay. This is very, very useful, Jan. I think from this position, just to give an overview, castles, we go knight g2, and then black can go e5, c5, and knight c6. Also, Jan did mention about a6, which is a very, very recent idea by Grishchuk to sack a pawn with b5. Maybe you will face it, but I think majorly you will face e5 and c5. I think one of the biggest advantages is that if an inexperienced King's Indian player is playing that, he will play e5 here because that's how they are tuned, and that gives really white excellent chances after bishop g5, queen d2, d5, and so on. If your opponent plays c5, you play d5, e6, bishop g5, and here it's important that after take knight bd7, not to rush with queen d2 at some, like, sorry, a6, a4, and knight bd7, not to rush with queen d2, but to play knight g3, bishop e2, and castles. And if he goes here with h5 plans, you develop your bishop, h4, knight f1, and then your knight can swing over to the c4 square to attack this weak pawn. And yeah, this is how you go. Jan, this was very, very useful. I know it was a different kind of opening. I could feel it, because it was not those typical things where you get your pieces out, Biswa, like you just develop everything castle quickly, rooks to the center. It's a lot of pieces fighting for squares.
Yeah, it's very interesting, very different sort of opening. Yeah, I think I have to see 10 more games to get a feel of it.
If Jan, someone gets your DVD, they also get instructive games, right? In that to see. And
Yeah. There is also a database with model games and with exercises. Extra feature is that you can train on your knowledge. So you have to guess the moves in several positions. And yeah, of course, I did my best to explain everything very clear. So especially for amateurs, it's very useful, but I think also for the club player, because I worked out the lines pretty deeply. And yeah, like I said, try to explain as much as possible about all the main plans.
very nice. Yeah. And it's around 4 hours, right? The entire course.
Yeah, it was recorded just before March 2020, and then I added some bonus material there with all the games, the Blitz games played during on chess.com the last 1.5 years. So I think it's a little bit more than 4 hours, might be 4 hours, yeah. But I'm not sure, but
Okay. Wonderful.
I think you won't regret it if you study this DVD, and it can serve you well in practice. That's I'm convinced of.
Thank you. Yes, and guys, if you want to get your hands on it, I've put the link in the description, so please do check it out. There is both ChessBase India link and also chessbase.com. So please do check that out. Jan, it was a pleasure hosting you here and learning the basics of this opening from you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. It was my pleasure. And Biswa, also thank you for all your interesting input.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for teaching this one. Now some chess.com players are going to suffer.
Yeah, sure.
I want to play this like a madman.
Yeah. Well, good luck with it, and well, hope to see you guys around.
Yes. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Ooh, wow, that was very intense. Biswa, क्या हुआ?
मेरे को लगा आप कंक्लूड करोगे इसलिए मैं वीडियो ऑफ कर दिया.
नहीं, I was just saying that will you try it in your games?
Yeah, I will, because once you get comfortable with the idea that the king is castling is not going to happen very quickly. Like sometimes in London system also, if you don't castle, your like opponent can't attack you. So this is similar. I mean, very different system from obviously London system, but it's similar. I have a tendency to I want to castle very fast. So it's counterintuitive. But I think once you understand how to move your pieces around, once you get over the initial hurdle, then the position you get is so beautiful. Like with the strong center and the pieces, your pieces are basically much better than black's pieces because he has literally no center.
Yeah, I think more space, that is the main thing. I was just like in my head, I have so many pleasant memories of this opening because I played it so many times overall, like everywhere that I went. And my first game ever outside India, when I played in Malaysia, I was very nervous because I've always played in India until I was 18 years old. And Malaysia में पहला game ऐसा आ गया, so I played this opening and I was like, okay, strong center, feeling very confident, and then I won. So there are some very pleasant memories related to the Saemisch system for me. So yeah, I mean, once you get a hold on it, the advantage is that players at this level cannot handle it from black side so well, क्योंकि बहुत complicated. So if you are able to handle it, it's of course it's not easy for white as well, but yeah.
But I think this idea can be the F3 idea can be borrowed into some E4 systems or like some other openings as well. Once you basically I never play F3 because obviously the knight ka square goes and this development becomes very difficult. But once you know these ideas, I think these can be used in some different openings as well.
Correct. True.
Even in E4 openings, I think can be used.
Yes, absolutely. Do you want to solve two positions before going?
Let's do. सागर भाई आज एक काम करते हैं, आप गेम खेलो, मैं काउंटर करता हूँ.
गेम खेलूं मैं?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll play 3+2.
Yeah. आप मेरा कमेंट्री सुन सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
सुन के खेलूंगा तो
Because I can't come up with better moves than you, so what is the problem?
let's see. Oh, this is a Amruta's. But oh, let's play with Amruta's.
Hello. Today Sagar is playing from Amruta's account because he wants to reduce Amruta's rating. But Abhay knows this, so Abhay has aborted the match. So Sagar's plan is fail. Thank you guys.
Oh no, he didn't play. Okay, let's see. Let's go for another one. Okay, maybe I can also. I have some players here who are. Let's try 3 minutes straight. There is no increment. Okay. Soul spin.
E4. Sagar plays his favorite Caro-Kann. Okay. And we are entering Caro-Kann advanced variation. Sagar puts his bishop. And this soul spin is playing some crazy Caro-Kann line. Okay. Now Sagar is thinking what to do. Will he play e6? And yeah, let's see. Solstin has put his knight behind the pawn very nicely. Sagar by thinking of, oh, c5 has been played. c5 has been played. Okay. Sagar is breaking in the center. And now bishop. Yes, bishop has been developed. Sagar is preparing to castle. अभी knight भी निकल जाएगा और अभी wow, Sagar wants to put the knight in its best square. और सोल स्पिन किंग को भगा रहे हैं.
अभी उन्होंने ये स्ट्रीम देखा लगता है.
हाँ. और सागर भाई का नाइट जिधर जाना था वहीं आया है घूम फिर के. सोल स्पिन काफी अग्रेसिव तरीके से खेल रहे हैं. सोल स्पिन आर्टिफिशियली कैसल कर रहे हैं. सागर भाई नेचुरली कैसल कर रहे हैं. नेचुरली कैसल कीजिए, आर्टिफिशियली कैसल मत कीजिए. आर्टिफिशियल कैसल इज बैड फॉर हेल्थ. Okay, soul spin is very fast also. He has a full 1 minute lead over Sagar. Sagar is thinking. What are the imbalances in the position? Oh, he develops his rook to the open file. Soul spin, king को अंदर छुपा दिया.
ये मूव देखो, ये मस्त है.
Wow, beautiful move by Sagar. If queen takes, then he'll take the bishop with his knight, and the queen will be attacked also. And then I think he'll be in a very good position.
And then knight c2, getting the rook on a1.
Wow, very nice tactical blow has been given. Now Sagar is an exchange up. Opponent still has chances, I would say, because he's ahead on time by a minute.
But position is very bad.
Yeah. Yeah, now his pieces are just bad, and his knight doesn't have much to do. He's trying to activate his knight, but now it's too late. And Sagar Shah entering with his queen. Can he give away his rook for the knight? Not necessary. Oh, very nice idea. Sagar has only 40 seconds. Opponent has 1 minute, 40 seconds and more. Okay. Sagar is preparing a tactic, I think. Sagar has 36 seconds. He can just take that pawn also, but okay. He wants to avoid the fork. सोल स्पिन का थोड़ा हेड स्पिन हो रहा है अभी. ओके, सुपर्ब. Sagar exchanging everything because he's ahead in material.
Okay.
Remember the football theorem, friends. ये नाइट एंड गेम में बहुत ट्रिकी होता है दोस्तों. कहीं से भी आके कुछ भी कर देता है, इसलिए हमेशा नाइट से बच के रहना. और ये नाइट जा चुका है काम से. ये नाइट खत्म है दोस्तों. ये नाइट, ओहो, गजब ब्लंडर बाय ओपोनेंट. एंड सोल स्पिन resigns. Instead of to save the knight, he gave up a queen. What a game, Sagar, what a game. Soul spin from Germany, I think, or Belgium, one of those countries.
Germany. Huh?
Germany
Yeah.
में ना? Yeah, I think Germany है. बेल्जियम का फ्लैग भी सिमिलर है बट साइडवेज है. अरे यार बहुत मजा आया आपका गेम देख के. Thank you.
I think I didn't play amazingly, but that bishop c2 tactic was good. But there should be something else also. Yeah, just a check. King f2. I think f6 was important perhaps because uska king center mein to break it, and then just castling and bishop c6, knight c6, bd4. यहाँ पे I thought something should come up, knight d4, queen d4, then bishop c5. पर even bishop c2 was good, queen c2, knight d4, but queen d1, and I couldn't finish off that variation. So rook c8 was a good addition, and then this worked, bishop c2.
Very nice. Great game. Enjoyed too much. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
This way I don't have to solve positions if I just make Sagar play. Okay. See you guys. Bye bye.
See you, sir. Bye. Thanks for attending, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Learned a lot. Enjoyed a lot. See you. Bye bye.
Bye. Guys, today was a very interesting session, a very different one, I would say, from what we have. Generally, how we do our sessions here is the sessions are not very high level because everyone can understand. But today's session was like one of those where it was so tough that all of you had to put in a lot of effort to understand. And also Jan showed some very interesting lines, very interesting moves that were there, somehow different in there. So I would definitely recommend all of you to check out his DVD and to also play this line. Generally, how you can incorporate an opening in your repertoire is to have such an introductory session, watch it, then play it, then see what problems you're facing, and then go deeper. So that is the best way. If you start with a lot of deep analysis, you'll feel like, "Arey yaar, itna karne ka, then I don't like it." But if you start with this 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes, what we looked at, and then you play, and then you see what are the mistakes, it would be very nice. So please do like the stream, and I will see you all later tonight or tomorrow. But until then, take care, guys. Bye bye.